Now, if you're not using any of these techniques yet, then by the time you've watched this video, you'll have all the knowledge that you need to start shooting epic looking footage. Today, I'm going to be using the iPhone 11. 3 videos dedicated to mastering basic gimbal movements. Make life easy on yourself. Learn these. Hold your gimbal with 2 hands. Orbit, having 2 hands on your gimbal will give you the steadiest shot. Number 5, learn the ninja. This will help reduce the impact of your feet hitting the ground when walking, which will ultimately transfer up your body, down your arms and onto your gimbal. Number 6, look at your screen, not where you're going. It might be tempting to look up, and you can briefly, but try to keep your eyes locked on your screen as much as possible. This will help give you the best composition throughout your shot. Have a test run before each. Okay, tip number 7, lock your focus and exposure. Once you've decided on your shot or focal point, tap and hold your screen to lock off your focus and exposure. The last thing you want is an exposure change halfway through your shot. Just look at these 2 shots, for example. Okay, tip number 8, you don't need to walk. Most beginners try using your arms and upper body to move your camera. You'll be surprised with what results you can get. Take this push forward, for example. This was shot by simply leaning with my upper body. Also, just using your arms will allow you to fit your gimbal through tighter spaces, so you can get much more creative with your shots. Okay, tip number 9, use grids to keep on the camera, and this will massively help with framing your shot. Now, if your phone doesn't have the option to enable grids, then I recommend shooting via an app like Filmic Pro or Moment. Okay, tip number 10, consistent movement. For example, if you're doing a push forward, try to keep your camera moving at the same speed throughout your shot. Try to avoid changing speeds, unless of course this is intentional. Changing your speed mid-shot will create juddery camera movements, defeating the purpose of using a gimbal. For example, maybe you're doing a tilt down push forward. Make sure that your tilt down movement is consistent as well as your push forward movement. Okay, tip number 11, dedicate 1 shot per clip, all in one long shot. We're going to shoot this path, then the grass, and then up to this building, and your camera movement is all slow motion. Slowing your footage down will help take away any micro jitters you might get in your footage, particularly common when first starting out. Shoot at either 60 or 120 frames for super slow motion, basically anything higher than 24 frames per second. Once you've had a bit of practice, you'll no longer feel the need to shoot at a higher frame rate and slow your footage down, because you'll be getting smooth shots straight out of camera. Okay, tip number 15, mix up your angles. But as you start to improve and get more confident using your gimbal, mix up your angles and get creative. Move your camera close to the ground. Look for interesting angles and movements. Try squeezing your gimbal through tight spaces. I've got 3 videos dedicated to gimbal moves. I will link them in the description below.